Hi guys, welcome back to Casually Crafted. My name is Ashley and this is Crafty Chat number 17, I think. Yes, number 17. Um, First of all, if you're new here, welcome. I made this channel to kind of talk about my mostly crochet crafty stuff and anything yarny related, but I also occasionally do other types of crafts also. But I like to keep it mostly crochet. Um, I'm also in a different spot today because I've somehow misplaced my phone holder thing that I normally use. Um, so I apologize if the lighting's a little off. I usually have more light when I'm over by the stairs. Um, so yeah. Um, so today I wanted to talk about things that I made for Christmas gifts. So a lot of these might be just pictures and then me talking about them. Um, I realize everybody's kind of starting to talk about their New Year's goals and whatnot, but I'm not quite ready to go there yet. I'm in this weird, for those of you who don't know, I just had a baby about 60 weeks ago. Um, so I'm in this weird stage where I want to get things done because it's a new year and I want to make all these goals and plans, but the reality is not quite there yet. um, we're struggling with time management, I guess, is my thing right now. Um, so I don't have a lot of new stuff to show you, but I can at least show you the things I did make for Christmas. I'm gonna grab my notes here. All right, so first I made a pair of slipper socks for my mom, and I will post a picture. The pattern was by Fiberflex here on YouTube, and I will have all the links to everything down below in the description box. And I made these using Lion Brand Mandala Ombre in the color Joy. So it's the color with purple and grays. And she says they fit. So I did alter the pattern a little bit. I had made a pair of these a few months ago for a friend of mine who has similar size feet as me. And so when I was making those, the pattern basically fit my foot. And so when I was making my mom's, her feet are a little bit bigger than mine. So I did add a little bit extra stitches just to make it a little wider. And then the length doesn't really matter because there's no heel or anything in the pattern. So yeah, so she says they fit and they're good. So then next for my dad, I made a hat. He has been really into running. I think he's training for a marathon because he's crazy, I guess. But he's been exercising, running outside, and it's cold in Colorado in the winter. So I had that Red Heart Heatwave yarn, and I made him a hat out of that. The pattern is the Men's Classic Beanie by Rich Textures Crochet, and that's here on YouTube also. So you'll see a picture of my dad wearing it because I forgot to take a picture before I sent it to him. And then next I made, I did show this in progress before, is the Nativity wall hanging. This pattern was from an Etsy pattern that I bought that was supposed to be for a tree skirt, but I just took the one panel that just had the main nativity part and made it into a wall hanging. And I didn't end up stiffening it or anything, I just blocked it and added a dowel at the top. I don't remember if the picture I took, if I had the dowel in it all put together or if it was just, we'll see, I don't know. And my grandma was really impressed with it. She was excited. I guess she normally gets a new nativity every year for where they've traveled, and since they haven't traveled this year, she was, I guess, feeling a little bummed that she didn't have a new nativity because she collects them. So she was excited when she opened that. Also, sorry if you hear any squeaks. I have the baby monitor down here, and my baby's a very loud sleeper. She makes all sorts of moans and squeaks and stuff. So you might hear some of that. Then for my daughter's teacher, so their class theme for their second grade class is like happy campers or something, and then they have a whole bunch of s'more themed stuff. And so I made her a s'mores ornament, and that is a pattern by Whistle and Ivy blog. And then I just used like 3 different, I think they're all cottons. The one that I used for the graham cracker part is a mystery yarn I bought at a garage sale one time, but I think it's cotton. I don't know. Then the white for the marshmallow is I Love This Cotton from Hobby Lobby, and then the brown is 24/7 cotton from Lion Brand. Alright, and then the last things I made, I can show you because they were for my 2 older daughters. So I was kind of sick of them not ever being able to find, their hats and gloves and stuff. And so I had this idea of making hanging baskets to hang by their coats. So they each have they also fight over whose gloves are whose and stuff like that. So they could each have their own gloves and hats in their own hanging basket. And so I wanted to just make something from my stash. And at first I wasn't sure I could find anything that would do the pattern justice. I have just like a lot of either stuff you'd use to make baby blankets with, because that's one of my favorite things to make, or like random Red Heart Super Savers type stuff. And the pattern is by One Dog Woof, and she made 2 versions, one with like a bulkier yarn and then one with a lighter yarn with 2 held together. So I remembered I had this yarn. I have my yarn in multiple places in my house because of spacing. So some of my nicer yarns are in a different spot. So I remembered I had this Ice Cream Cotton Blend by Lion Brand. And I had 3 colors of it, and I bought 2 of each color. And this was, I don't normally purchase yarn unless I have like a plan for it or it's on a really good sale. And even then it's only like a little bit at a time. So I had 3 of the blueberry color, 2 of the grape, and 2 of the lime. So I started with the blueberry and just took 2 since I was holding 2 strands together. And I left it with stuffed full of her stuff. So this one I made for my 7-year-old. Because she likes blues like me. So it's basically the moss stitch in a triangle, and then you fold up the triangle into like a little envelope shape. And I don't know why, I just was loving the way this was looking with the 2 strands held together, because it's basically just variegated different shades of blue. And yeah, so I was really liking how it was looking. And the moss stitch is one of my favorite stitches, and I didn't even realize when I started the pattern that it was going to be a moss stitch. I just kind of started it. I was like, oh, I know how to do this stitch. Okay. But obviously in a triangle it's a little different than just back and forth. But it was pretty quick and easy. So yeah, so that's the blueberry color. And then when I was doing this one, this is the first one I made, there was 3 knots, which I wasn't super happy about. I don't know which skein they were in because I was holding 2 together. So there could have been all 3 in one, or 2 in one and 1 in the other. I don't know. I didn't have any knots in the purple, which is this grape. Grape is what it's called. So purple. And then even though this one's not for Christmas, I just decided to make one for myself. I am making one out of the lime. This is the only crocheting I've done in the past 3 weeks probably. So here it is in the triangle part. And I'm a little frustrated because one, there was another 2 knots. And I'm almost done, and I get here and one skein is gone basically, and the other skein has tons left. Not tons, but enough where I could have finish the last little bit. So I don't know how Lion Brand wants to explain that two things of yarn that are supposed to be the same weight as each other, same amount of yardage as each other, one finished before the other. I don't know. So now I have to frog back 2 whole rows, because where you add this loop, you add a chain row, is like the second to last row, and then you go back and do the very last row doing the single crochets around it. So now I have to go back like 2 rows to add the loop in the row before that I have it. So that's a little frustrating. Not the end of the world though. I think that's all I was going to say about that one. Oh, she calls for an 8mm hook. I'm not sure the exact weight of the yarn she used, but I used a 7mm with that. And these are just a 4 weight. And they're 47% cotton, 53% acrylic, 225 yards each. And I also just went till the yarn was out, basically. I didn't really follow like her sizing. I just wanted to make them as big as possible. So that is that. And well, I did forget one thing that I have to show you. I'll be right back. Okay. So this was intended to be a Christmas gift for the new baby, but since I didn't finish it and she doesn't care, I'm still working on it because I kind of just put it aside for a little bit. I'm making a lovey for her. I got a little elephant just from Amazon. It's not one. So Rose from Rose Likes Crochet makes these little loveys all the time, and the tutorial is by Z from Zelda NRJ3. So it's not the same type of animal that Rose normally would use, but that's okay. It's really soft though. And then the yarn I'm using is the same Lion Brand Mandala Ombre in the color Joy that I used for my mom's socks. At first I was trying to use her scraps to make one, but it didn't get as far as I wanted, so I just bought a new one. They do make, there's a Mandala Ombre in all grays, like gray and black, and I was tempted to get that one, but I did like the purple. I'm not sure, I haven't decided how long I want this to go. I might be done, I don't know. I might go a little bit further to get back to the dark, there's a dark purple, so I might try to get at least one row of the dark purple in there. And the grays don't exactly match the gray of him, but I don't care, I think he's so cute. So that's kind of Christmas, kind of not. I did get to work on him a little bit today while I was waiting for my daughter at school. So there's all that. And then, so I did want to show you guys a few things that I got for Christmas and or after Christmas for myself. So let's see. My stocking had these. I haven't used these yet. These are bent tip needles, or clover, and they come in this fancy little case. 2 of them there. And then, oh, I dropped it. Okay, there's also this Lion Brand size eye hook. I don't have a lot of eye hooks. I used to not use this size very often. And then the one I had was a boy, and it's a 5.25mm for whatever reason. So now I got this one in a 5.5. The lovey I'm doing, I'm also using an eye hook, and it's one I got from a dollar store. I forgot I was going to talk about that, but that's okay. It's working pretty good actually for a dollar store hook. It's just a little short. It's kind of weird. I haven't used this one yet, so we'll see. I thought it was interesting that it tells you like the weights of yarn you could use it with. But yeah, never had a bamboo hook before, so we'll see how that goes. And then from my daughters, they thought it would be fun to buy me some light up hooks. So haven't used these yet either. But I got an F, a G, and an H. And H is probably my most used out of these three sizes, followed by the G, and I don't even know how often I've used F, but I mean, I guess it could be useful. So there's that as far as hooks go. Santa also got me a little thing of stitch markers, which means I made them for myself and put them in my stocking. These I just made from charms from Joann's. They were like buy 2 get 3 free or something like that. So I made a seashell. I just made a whole bunch of random ones. Let's see if I can get that to focus. Whatever that is, starfish. Can't think apparently. Seahorse. And then there was a set of like letters. So there's an H. A J. I just did kind of the ones that I use most often, I think. A G. Oh, and these clasps are like heart-shaped. I haven't tried them out yet to see how good they work as stitch markers, but I thought they were cute. And I just did the heart shapes on the letter ones to make them a little different. And a K. And then here's a Made with Love. And then 2 random just blue ones. So those were in my stocking also. And then right before Christmas, Lion Brand's been doing a lot of like 4 for $10 or 5 for $10 sales on their website. And 4 for $10 I can pass on, especially if it's something I can get in store, because you still have to pay shipping. So at that point, it's not really worth it. 5 for $10 is a little more tempting, especially if it's something you can't get in stores. So I've looked at this yarn before, and I've always been tempted to get it, mostly because of the color. So this one was 5 for $10, and then shipping was like $6, so it was $16 for 5 of them overall. But this is Lion Brand's Beautiful You, and that is not showing the color correctly. This is a teal, like dark teal color. And it's showing up way blue. That makes me sad, because I can't change the lighting in here. It's like almost 11 o'clock at night. I need to get to bed. But anyway, this one is the color Capri, and it's a 2 weight, which I've never worked with anything really that small. But I've always thought this would make a nice top, so I think hopefully 5 would be enough. It's 326 yards, and it's 100% acrylic. But yeah, so I got 5 of those. And then I was shopping. Oh, so between Summer's Tips and Stitches and Pamela from Pamela's Adoring Crochet, and now that I have like more stuff that I don't know what to do with, I was debating on getting one of those rolling cart thingies, like the 3 shelf ones. And so I was looking at Joann's, I was looking at Michael's. Hobby Lobby doesn't have any that I could see online. And then even just Amazon. I was trying to decide which ones to get, and then Joann's had like a $5 off if you spent $35 coupon, and they were $30. So I decided to go ahead and get one, and I haven't set it up yet. And then because I needed it to be 35 to get the $5 off, and they're also doing like a yarn sale right now, which some yarns on a good sale, some of it's not that great. I bought a Lion Brand mandala, which I've never done just the mandala. I've done a lot of the ombres. But this one is in the color Spirit, and I just got 2 of those. I figured it would make a cute baby blanket probably, because that's what I do for a boy. But yeah, it's nice and soft. And then, oh, I also got, sorry, it fell out of my pile. I got a neck light from my mom. I haven't tried it out yet. There, it's like Velcroed shut right now, so I'm not going to open it up. I mean, I've put it on and turned it on, but not like crocheted with it. My daughter was like, you could do it like crochet in your bed. I'm like, yeah, but then I'd still have to get out of bed to put my crochet away. So that kind of defeats the purpose of crocheting in bed. Because I sleep on the wall side. So I'd have to either crawl over my husband or, yeah, off the foot of the bed like I do every night to get the baby. But that's a different reason. So I think it'd be a little silly to crochet in bed. So that is all my acquisitions and all my like Christmassy stuff. I did want to show you one more thing, if you could bear with me slightly longer. I was going to show you this in like next month, because when I first showed this to you, it was one of my very first videos, and my anniversary is coming up for my like having 1 year. So I was going to show it then, like as a finished project, but I ran out of yarn, kind of. So I was making a scrap granny rectangle blanket. For those of you who haven't been here since the very first few videos, the inspiration from this is because I had a few balls of Red Heart, the sachet yarn, the kind that you make the ruffly scarves with, in the color Waltz. So it's this brown and gray mixture, and this is half. So I had some balls of it and I cut it like in half, so there's like a sparkly half and then a non-sparkly half. I don't know if I could explain that very well, but maybe I'll link the video for that. Anyway, so the colors choices were based on this, and I wanted to use this up and use up a whole bunch of random grays and browns and tans that I had that I knew I'd probably never use, which is funny because I've actually used a lot of those, like, as those things of yarn have been in this box, that while I'm working on it, I've pulled stuff out to make smaller projects, like those s'mores, that s'mores ornament that I showed. What those 2 browns were in this box that I've been using up. So I mean, but I am happy that I've used up some of the smaller scraps or things that I knew I'd probably never actually use. Anyway, so that's where the colors came from for this. So it is mostly browns. Oh, I'm showing you the side with all the ends. Hold on. Browns and grays and some tan. They're like light tans. So here it is. I know you can't really see the whole thing. I'm like looking through the holes. And I'm using like sometimes, so I'm using all different weights of yarn. So sometimes there's 3 strands held together, sometimes there's 2. Anywhere where the sachet yarn is just 1. And sometimes there's some other grays that were pretty fat yarns, so there's just 1 of those too. But yeah, so I haven't decided what I want to do, because I was doing 2, like you can see I'm doing 2 rows of each like color change, and I basically run out of, so I was doing the sparkly part here, and so I've gotten, there's like hair in it, sorry I shed all the time. So I've done 1 whole row, and then I started the 2nd row and I ran out of sparkle, and so I went back to this, but this is not going to get all the way around. It takes actually quite a bit of yarn to get all the way around one row, round, whatever you want to call it. So I don't know if I want to keep going and play yarn chicken, and I know I probably won't make it, so I don't want to waste that time. Or do I just leave it as one row of this? Because so it is it's almost big enough, I feel like. It's as long as my arm span, basically, and I'm 5 feet tall, so about 5 feet. I could have it on my lap pretty comfortably, but I don't think it's quite big enough to really like snuggle under and have like on the couch or whatever. So I'm tempted to just, I don't want to buy more of this yarn. It's basically discontinued. I found some on eBay, but it's not cheap. And that kind of defeats the purpose of a stash buster blanket when you have to go buy more yarn for it. So I'm thinking of just going back and leaving the sachet yarn just one row here, and then continuing kind of my patterning that I had going on. But I don't know if I should just do one row of each color now, so that it's one row. So like one row of the sachet, one row of gray, one row of brown, one row of tan. Or if I continue with the 2 rows after having a random one row of the sachet yarn. I don't know if that makes any sense, or if I'm just rambling, I'm sorry. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I haven't decided. I've worked on this off and on. Like it kind of sat there for months, and then a few weeks ago I decided I would try to work on it, and I had my baby sitting in my lap as I'm trying to crochet on it in my bed. But yeah, so that's that. If you have any advice on what I should do, or I should just, I don't want to just be done. I need to do something to finish it, and I have tons of ends to weave in on the other side. Because like I said, there's like, this is one row. I had 3 strands. So that'll take me a little bit of time. But it would be nice to get it done before it's been a whip for a year, right? But yeah, so it was my goal to go to bed by 11 so I can wake up and work out in the morning, but it's now 11:05. So I'm going to end it here, and hopefully I didn't forget anything, and thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye guys.